See, we're gonna go ahead and open it up to our public hearing. During this time, we're not gonna hear from our board or the staff or the city, or the applicant. We're only gonna hear from, public members that are here to speak for or oppose. The menu, item for tonight.
And I didn't introduce you, that's okay.
So I'll do a quick roll call. Keith Inman. Sherman Odom.
Here.
Dr. Burks. Richard LaBrash.
Here.
Liz Condrey. Here. Catherine Dent.
Here.
Tabitha Ellie. Do I have somebody to take minutes?
I can.
Not one. So, on the agenda for tonight, we have accepting or rejecting a conditional use at 1509. Oh,
I'm sorry about that.
oh, that would be wonderful.
Let's keep in there, okay.
Okay.
I could be the door greeter, couldn't I? The door introducer.
For a conditional use at 1509 South Louise Street, owner Michael Florence, and I'm going to open this up to the public comments if we have any at this time. Seeing none, I'm going to go ahead and close the public meeting. And we're going to move on into the planning and zoning part of the meeting. And can I get an approval of the August 3rd meeting minutes, please? They would have been in the packet at this time. Did I hear a motion in a second? Okay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and ask for,
Need to call for a question.
Okay, you guys have to vote on it.
oh, I'm sorry. Let's have a vote on that.
Nobody.
Catherine?
Aye.
Liz? Yes.
Aye.
Richard?
I don't know.
The approval of the agenda, I think you seconded it, 5 minutes.
She's talking about the minutes from the last meeting.
Oh, the minutes, okay. I was looking at this. Okay, never mind.
Okay, so again, for tonight, our only, agenda item is accepting or rejecting a conditional use at 1509 South Louise Street with owner Michael Florence. And we're gonna go ahead and open that up for the applicant to come up and speak.
I'm running a detail shop, 1509 South Louise, for a motorcycle detail shop. I was told to take away the tires and oil because it might have been a Pico problem, which I did, and that's what I got. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. We're gonna go ahead and get our staff report. Do you have a report for us?
Yeah, I think y'all have, the summary there in front of you. It's, Mr. Florence put in for a conditional use, requested a conditional use, permit for the motorcycle detail shop at 1509 South Louise. Currently the property is zoned residential and is located in a neighborhood of mostly occupied single-family dwellings. This type of use requested by Mr. Florence is not typical of the types of uses that could be conditionally permitted listed in Salem City Code section 405.125. I know previously we had met here to discuss a similar issue in the same place. Then it was for a motorcycle and repair shop for tires and things like that. This time it is the request is for a detail shop. And previously, Mr. Florence mentioned that mechanical was one of his aspects of his operation. If that's changed, I'm sure he can answer questions to that. That previous request for the detail and repair shop had been denied by planning and zoning back in August. Any questions from me?
I
I don't have any questions about what you just said, but I have questions about what I'm reading.
Okay.
Can I go ahead and discuss that with you?
Yes.
What is the difference between 906 West Center and 1509 Louise?
So, and I knew that there might be a question, that's why I put that little jot in there. On May 25th, 2023, Planning and Zoning Commission voted to recommend approval for conditional use permit for an automotive detail shop, 906 West Center. This location was recommended for approval based on the condition that existed in the area, including the comparatively low density of occupied housing. There was also, there was a low density of occupied housing. There also wasn't a house, very close to it at all. There was some to the rear, a couple hundred feet away, but that was the closest one, that were occupied. So it was again, talking about a conditional use, and the conditions, between these two properties were vastly different.
I also notice in your report that you state that Mr. Florence has mentioned that mechanical work is one aspect of his operation. So this question is directed to you, Mr. Florence, that, do you have mechanical work involved in a detail shop?
Not in detail. Details only like cleaning it up and then making it look nice. Bringing it back to the new look.
So I'm assuming that you're looking at noise, Mr. Brown?
No, I'm looking at a commercial use in a residential zone.
I understand that, but compared to 906 West Center, are you looking at noise?
No, I was, the impact on the neighborhood. There wasn't much of a neighborhood in 906%.
Okay, have we had complaints about 1509 South Louise?
There had been, yes, that's how I became aware of it, so.
Okay, have you shared those complaints with Mr. Florence?
Yeah, we talked about it, when we met on site.
No, we haven't. I called the police. They had no complaints, no record of any complaints. I even had the Alderman, Kayla Cisco. She called the police to verify that. I called the city and asked if there was any complaints there. No record of complaints. They said, only since my last meeting here. So whatever that is.
So the police department does keep logs of every phone call that comes in. City Hall does not.
Right, and I was told that there was that from Tammy, I believe her name is, that there was no complaints there.
Right, and Tammy is one of the people that answers the phone.
Right.
I'd received two, and I'd actually received one, and it was after hours and completely forgot about it. And the second time was the same day that I come over and visited them.
Could you tell us what that complaint was?
That was about a lot of noisy motorcycles in the area and somebody working on it. And what's the deal?
Okay, well, you are aware that Mr. Florence does, as a chapter elder for Bikers for Christ,
Yes,
and has motorcycles at his facility often?
yes, the question was, why are we working on motorcycles, and there's a sign on it. It's a residential area, so. that would
And
be-
this was after this last planning and zoning meeting?
No, ma'am,
This
that
is
was.
before. Okay,
that was
so
whatever.
everything that has occurred since that last planning and zoning meeting basically should be thrown out?
I'm sorry?
Like complaints for noise, et cetera, should be thrown out?
Oh, I don't know about that. The question was that we had complaints.
Okay. Have you had complaints since the last planning and zoning commission meeting?
I haven't personally had any.
Is there any other questions for Jared?
I have a question. Are there compliance issues with like discharge of water from a detail shop? About what products are used, chemicals?
To be honest with you, I'm not aware of what chemicals are used in the detail shop or what our sanitary sewer requirements are for anything. I'm not up to speed on that process.
I can answer that question though with what I use. I use a waterless wash, which is biodegradable. It's Flowgenics, if we all heard of it, and it's a waterless wash. So it doesn't hit, nothing hits the sewer or nothing.
Any other
let's see what the staff recommendation is for this, permit. I hate to see this because of recent precedents with regard to another business in Salem. That's a different situation, granted, okay? But this is this man's livelihood. And I hate to see somebody lose their livelihood. And to see if there might be some way that we could work with him so that that doesn't happen.
Any thoughts, questions?
Yeah, I mean, I have a problem with it, and, you know, Kevin's got a valid point, but we, in our infinite wisdom, before we came on the board, came up with planning and zoning. And the question is, you know, each one of you needs to look at it personally and say, would I want a motorcycle next door to my house? And probably most of us would say, no, I really don't. And we provided for it in planning and zoning to say, hey, you know, if you're a commercial enterprise, you've got to be in a commercial area. If you're residential, you know, you should expect to have all residential, like kind in their area.
But there are exceptions to that.
Oh, absolutely, there are
And an exception was just made.
Yeah.
Different situation.
May have been a mistake.
We don't know that.
Can I ask a question? I know you guys are probably already done with all that, but what's the difference in having a loud truck or a loud motorcycle that lives next door to you? I mean, you're gonna have people all the time that are gonna have loud motorcycles riding up and down the street. They come up and down my street all the time. I mean, what's the difference if they're gonna be there anyways? Cause like she said, he's got a church group that's all ride motorcycles that show up there all the time. They're gonna be there anyway, so nobody's complained about the noise for the past, what, 2-3 years now?
Past 15 years since I lived here, I've had a motorcycle. I've never had any complaints.
Question is, did you ever get a city license to have it?
No, that's what I was trying to do until all this came up. Maybe I should have just kept my mouth shut and not advertised, and then I wouldn't be here right now, and I'd still be over there working in my shop, and, because no police ever came by. I don't know why someone would say, hi, I'm gonna wait until tomorrow morning, or I'm not gonna call the police right now, I'm gonna wait till tomorrow morning and call Jared, because I wanna call him and make sure he knows that there's a loud motorcycle. I'm not gonna call the police though, that are open 24 hours, right? So I just don't understand. And you got a valid point. I don't understand why, I'm gonna have motorcycles there anyways. There's gonna be motorcycles going up and down that street. At all, I mean, they don't come through all hours of the night. When I've come through there at nighttime, it's only been when I come back from Sturgis or when I came back from a long ride that day. And that could be only me in my privacy, because I own that property. I keep my motorcycles there. So I don't understand. There's still gonna be motorcycles there.
You don't stay there and just rev them up when you're working on them, do you, or anything, or?
No, if I'm working on carburetors and it's during the day, you might hear a rev, you know.
Yeah, fine adjustment
Is
charge.
there other board comments?
But apparently, somebody doesn't like it.
Well, I'm pretty close to the issue, because I live a block down, right? I don't want it in the neighborhood. We don't have any other kind of shops that are operating, advertising to the public in the neighborhood that I know of. Several of us have run administrative businesses there. But personally, no, I don't wanna hear the noise. And it's not like my motorcycle isn't what the issue is. It's when you get 8 or 10 of them together, and they gotta, anyway, it's my neighborhood, I don't want it there, that's all I'm.
You're gonna hear them anyway.
I'll abstain from the vote.
My question to you is that if he has these meetings there with this motorcycle group with which he's affiliated,
That's
you're
his
still gonna
business.
get the noise. I mean,
That's his business. I'm not saying what he can't do, you're asking me what my opinion is on the issue, and as a person living in the neighborhood, no, I do not wish to see this approved. And probably I need to pull myself away from the situation altogether.
Yes,
I'm in the vote.
he does.
What's that?
He needs to pull himself away because he's already
Okay.
admitted. He's admitted he's not for it.
Do you have any other questions, comments, or are we ready to vote?
You're talking about this issue, what you're talking about is when we did the detail shop over here, at on Center Street, that's the issue here. When we did that business was, as I understand it, was strictly for detailing. And is that what you're doing? Only?
That's
Is
strict.
that for
Yes, I
detailing?
was told to go ahead and that's why I reapplied. Because I've dropped my other work and I'm doing strictly detailing. So I'm gonna focus more strictly on detailing. I make money detailing.
Sure.
I make $100 a bike. I mean, and that's generous to my customers.
So you're not going to do any mechanical work there?
No, I'm not gonna do any mechanical work there. Only if I'm doing mechanical work there, it'd be on my own personal bike. Because it's my own because it's my garage. I do have tools. I can work on my own stuff. I live right around the corner. There's people that had bikes around there. Bill Green, that lived across the street from you, Richard LaGrash, had a bike. I mean, there's 2 or 3 people that live in that area that have bikes. I'm not the only one that has bikes. Every time that we have a meeting, or if we have someone, if we take off for a ride, we always meet there. And sometimes it's like 8 o'clock in the morning, when the roosters are crowing, people are up, nobody's complaining. Richard, you come by my shop, looked at my bikes, and you said, hey, those are looking really nice, Mike. That's why I thought I had your vote. That's why I didn't go over it. That's why I
I
didn't.
was happy to have told you. I didn't say I didn't, I wanted to have a detail shop in the neighborhood. I said, your bike looks nice.
Yeah, so I figured, why come up and
And,
talk to you
there was no
if I.
invitation, there was no invitation to come.
What do I need to come talk to you when you come by my house? Man, you come by my house, you say hi to me all the time, you always wave to me. You even stopped out, my brother was getting picked on by the people down the street. He got his guns out and said, hey, Mike, I got your back. But now now you're against the detail shop?
You're taking this personal, this is not.
Personal, this is why I make my
I've
living,
lived
dude.
here 46 years
I
in
think
this
we need to
neighborhood.
get
Oh,
back
wow.
to if we're going to
I lived
approve
15 years in this
or
neighborhood.
Whatever.
I own property there.
Whatever.
You're not the only person that owns property there.
So if we have other board comments, we're gonna go ahead and get those, and if not, I need somebody to make a motion. Do I have a motion?
How about this for a motion? I move that we do not accept the recommendation of the staff for the conditional use permit. And you will know what the staff has recommended.
So you are recommending
That,
that we accept a conditional use permit
yes,
for 1509 South Louise Street.
yes.
So that is the motion. Is there a second?
Well, I would put some caveats on the motion like we did the one on Center Street. And I'm not saying I'm gonna vote for it or not gonna vote for it, but I think the motion should have some restrictions on it. We had hours of operation, we had, get what all we had, but we had several restrictions. Do you have that?
I don't, for that 906, no, I don't.
Center Street?
I don't have that with me.
We talked about signage, how big the
Right.
signage was.
The restriction on signage, the restriction on hours of operation,
Noise, sign,
noise, sign,
amount of vehicles,
Hours of operation.
hours. I think there was something about maybe fencing or some, noise boundaries.
that's my suggestion.
And let me just add that the only person that is against it in that neighborhood would be that guy right there, so I think he should recuse himself from this panel.
I offered to do that already, Mike. I understand where all your angst is coming from. This is not personal. I'm stating an opinion as a citizen.
Well, I'm letting,
I have a
I'm letting the
right to
board
say
know that I
you
have
do.
no complaints with, any of the neighbors there. I've done talked to them all. I've explained this in the last meeting. I've talked to them all.
Like I said, you didn't talk to me.
Because you came by, I thought you was a friend of mine. Apparently not.
Your motorcycle looked good. I am a friend of yours. Unless you don't, that's your problem.
Sherman, are you placing a second on the motion?
I am not without conditions.
So what do we have to do, Ed?
Well, we have a whole list of conditions.
Okay, can I amend my motion?
Sure.
I'm gonna amend my motion to accept, a conditional use permit for this location with conditions, regarding hours of operation, signage,
I don't remember what all we had on the other one. We come up with a pretty good list. You know, the thing we get into, if we're gonna comply with planning and zoning, we also want to come up with fencing, the possibility of fencing. I mean, it's not just, you know, come on guys, let's just let it wide open. Just saying.
If you're going to list conditions, then you need to state what those.
What the conditions are.
So if it's hours of operations, what are those hours, if it's fencing, how tall, and what areas need, it needs to have those kind of details.
okay.
And I'm sorry, I don't have what those details were on the other situation.
Well, I really don't like to see this man lose his livelihood because nobody has a copy of the conditions placed on the Center Street decision. So maybe we should make those conditions tonight, or else table this and have another meeting.
I would agree with that.
Okay, let's amend it again. I move that we table this discussion on the conditional use permit and meet again to establish conditions on the conditional use permit. Fair enough?
I would second that.
May I ask a question, is that to ask for recommendations from staff on what those conditions should be?
I think the
Or-
planning and zoning should set those conditions.
And that's fine,
Yeah.
but if that's the case, is it so that you can look at what they were on the other detailed
Yes.
shop? Okay, I just wanna make sure we're
Yeah.
clear what the expectation is.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. This vote, Kevin,
Yes.
Liz, yes.
Yes.
All right, so, I'm not sure how to do this. How do we set up another meeting? Do we set this date before we leave out of this
You
meeting?
don't have to, we can canvass as we've done before to try to find a date, or if you want to try to, you can. You do have a couple members missing, so that's entirely up to you.
Do we want to set a meeting, or do we want them to set a meeting for us?
Say, what can we say first?
Okay. That's the only thing.
Coordinate, see if we all can make it.
All right, if there's nothing else for tonight, I need a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
I second that.
Can we get a vote, I guess?
Aye.
All right.